This video today is going to show you how to make a video slideshow out of photos. This can be a tool that can be used for many different things, from graduation slideshows to birthdays or weddings or anything like that. We're going to be using PhotoStory 3 to make this video today. And if you don't have the software downloaded, it is a free download from Microsoft. And the steps on how to get that are in the papers that go along with this video. So to begin with, we're going to start by opening up PhotoStory. When the screen first opens, you're going to start with a welcome screen. If this is a new video, you're going to click on Begin a New Story. If you have one that you're going to be editing or adding to, you can edit the project. We're going to start today by beginning a new story and click Next. Now, I did a little bit of prep work prior to starting this project, and I took the pictures I wanted to use and I placed them in a folder on my desktop, and I named it Pics for PhotoStory Training. I find that to be the easiest way to do this. When you have all the pictures you want to use in your PhotoStory slideshow in one folder, that makes it a lot easier to import the pictures. It is not necessary. You can go out to different places in your computer and find the pictures and import them one at a time. I think it's easier to do it all at once. So once you have that done, then you can come in here and click on Import Pictures, and it will go to your computer. Mine are in, it went straight to my folder that I'm wanting to use because that's where I had been prior to doing the training. So I want to import all these pictures. I'm going to click on the first one. I'm going to hold Shift down, and I'm going to click on the last one. Well, it should select them all. Well, I'll just hold Control down and click on the other two. Well, for some reason it doesn't want me to do that one. Click OK. It imports them all. Now I missed one of them, so I'm going to go back and import it. Actually, I guess it got it. So now I have that one twice. If you do something like that where you have a picture more than once, or you have one you don't want, you simply click on that picture and click this little X and it will delete that picture. Once you have your pictures imported, the next step is it asks if you want to remove the black borders. You might notice that a couple of my pictures have black borders on there, and that's because the size of the picture or something like that. Depending on the picture, you can remove those black borders. I'm going to remove them from this one, and so I'm clicking on that picture and I'm going to click Remove Black Borders, and it will come up and show me what the picture is going to look like if they remove those borders. Now I want to make sure I keep the main part of my picture there, so I'm just going to adjust that a little bit, and I'm going to click Yes. And on this one, however, I feel like I'm losing a lot of the detail of the picture if I do that, so I'm not going to remove them on that one. I'm going to click No's on that one. So you notice I have them removed from the other ones, and that one kept the same. Now, one of the things that I want to do that you can do here is you can move the order of the pictures. I want this first picture that says Fort Sumter National Monument to be my very first picture of my slideshow. So I'm going to click on it, and I'm going to use my arrows over here to move them. I'm going to make that my first one. The other ones aren't that big of a deal as far as when they want to be. Now, one of the things you cannot do with PhotoStory is you cannot put a blank slide with titles in. One of the things that you can do to prevent that, though, is to go into a program like Publisher or Photoshop or something like that and just create a blank slide of a solid color or something like that, and say import that into your slideshow, and then that will allow you to have a blank slide that you can just put text on. So as an example of that, I want to do that. I'm going to go back into my Import Pictures, and I'm going to go into my Pictures file. If I can find it. And I have a couple of blank ones here that I had created. I'm going to put a light blue one in there. And I'm going to move it to the beginning. And then I have a blank slide there before my slideshow starts. And then I can put some text on it here in just a minute. So once you have your pictures in there, you have them all imported, and you have them in the order that you want, you can click Next. It's always a good idea at this point also to save your project so you don't lose anything that you have. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Save Project, and I'm going to save this as PhotoStory Training. And notice the extension, the WP3 extension. What that does is it saves this file as a PhotoStory project file, which means it is an editable file that you can come back into and make changes to. And that's how you want to save it to begin with. So I'm going to click Save just to make sure that I don't lose anything. And now I'm at the point where I can add titles to my pictures. And so I want to add a title to the very beginning of my slideshow. So I'm just going to come up here where it says Type Text, Add Title. And I'm going to put My Trip to Fort Sumter, South Carolina. And you can change the font for that if you want by clicking on the font button. And you can make changes to the color of the font. You can make changes to what you want it to look like, how big you want it to be, any of that kind of stuff. If I want to make it a different color, I can do that. I'm going to leave it black just for the sake of this project, but you can do all of that in there. You can also change where it's located as far as your alignment goes, where it's located top and bottom on the slide, however you want to do it. That's all available there. Once you have that the way you want it, you click Next. It added it to my slide there, as you see. Then this is the slide where you can narrate your pictures and customize your motion. If you want to narrate through your pictures, you can simply record yourself. I don't typically do that, but that is something that you can do. You can also customize the motion, which is going to be how each slide goes from one picture to the next, which is going to be transitions. Depending on how you want to do that, there are automatic transitions that come with it. You can put specific ones on there if you want to. You can set the duration of how each slide goes, each picture. They're defaulted to set at 5 seconds apiece. I'm going to leave them that way, but you can change that. If you go to the transitions, it shows you that the slide current picture is the blue one, my first slide, and the transition is a fade. If I want to make that, say, a circle, then I can do that, and then I can click Save. If you're going to change transitions on each slide, you have to do it one at a time. So like I was clicked on that first one, that's why it added it on that one. And then if I wanted to add a specific transition to the second one, I'd have to click on it, come back into Customize Motion, and so forth. I'm going to leave the rest of them at automatic just for the sake of the training. Once you've finished all of that, you can click Next again. The next slide, or the next step, is where you can add background music to it. You can add music that you have on your computer already through iTunes or any of those kinds of programs. For school projects, we typically use freeware music that has no copyright issues with it. Or you can also create your own music. PhotoStory has a bunch of different types of music that you can use to add mood to your slideshow, so you could do that also. I'm just going to show you how to do both. If you wanted to select music that you have on your computer, you could do that. Go into your music folder, go into your iTunes folder, iTunes Media, and bring up your music if you have any in there. If you can see, I've got several different ones in there, and you could just choose one of those and put it in there. They do have to be MP3s. PhotoStory will not read MP4s, which most of the new music that is downloaded through iTunes and stuff comes as MP4s, so that could be an issue. You might have to get a different software that will make those into MP3s. I'm going to I'm going to get out of this, and I'm going to go into the Create Music to show you what PhotoStory has to offer. On creating the music, they have all different types of genre that you can use, and you can choose on which one you think would be the best for your different slideshow. I'm going to use country because this is kind of a Civil War. If you don't know what Fort Sumter is, it's where the Civil War started, so we'll do that. Let's try classical sad. That seems to think that it'll work with it, and I'm just going to see what it will give me if I hit play. Doesn't sound too sad to me, but works for the sake of this. If you don't like that, you can click on a different one. Maybe slow it down a little bit, see what it gives you. Again, those seem a little bit, I don't know, too cheerful for Civil War, but that's okay. We're going to leave it the way it is just for the sake of the training. I'm going to slow it down a little bit and just leave it the way it is, and I'm going to click OK. And it adds it to my slideshow, and it adds the exact right amount that you need. It'll do that also if you bring in your own music. It'll just add either the length of the song, or if the song is longer than your slideshow takes, it will stop it where it is. So you may want to do, if you're going to bring in your own music, you might want to do some, put it into a software where you can fade it in, fade it out, some of that kind of stuff. So once you have your music added, you can preview your slideshow, and it'll show you what it's going to look like. Okay. Now, one of the things that I like to do on slideshows is I always like to have an ending slide that says the end on it. And I purposely didn't put it on there to start out with because I wanted to show you that even though once you've done all this, adding the picture, adding the music and all of that, you can always go back to the previous steps. And I want to go back in and add another ending slide. So I'm going to import pictures again. And I'm just going to put another blue one in.